What if Deku had wood release? Part 2. That is the what if we will be discussing in today's video. I hope you all do enjoy it, and now, let's begin. 2 weeks pass as we now see Izuku walking into the classroom with his hands behind his head. As he'd be walking in, he would sit down before looking around. It just felt off, when all of a sudden his eyes would lock on a familiar blonde-haired woman's face. He would walk up to her before smiling. "Oh, it appears you actually made it in. That's quite good," he would say, smiling, as she would then smile back. "Yeah, I worked really hard these past couple of weeks, and luckily it paid off when I got moved up to Class 1A. Well, that's good. Anyway, have you heard what we're going to be doing today?" "Oh, yeah, did. We're actually getting our teams today. Isn't that so exciting?" she would say with a bright, big smile on her face, as Izuku's eyes and face would then drop with a sudden realization. "Wait, really? I didn't know that. I thought that was not for another couple of weeks." "Yeah, it's actually today. So, who do you think's gonna be on your team?" "I'd actually like to be on your team. I really don't know anyone else in this class." "Yeah, that'd actually be quite cool. Although it is most likely just gonna be really random." "Yeah. So, what do you think's gonna happen?" I guess they're just gonna walk in, list off our name and our instructor, I guess. I've hired a ton more just Jonin level heroes on so they can try to just have teachers for us and take us out on missions." As Izuku would walk back to his seat, staring up towards the front of the board, as Aizawa would end up walking in. "Alright, class. And today we're going to be listing off your teams. First team is Melissa Shield and Kirishima, along with Kaminari. Those teams and their instructor will be Midnight. Next team is Izuku, Bakugo, and Uraraka. I happen to be their instructor." As Aizawa would continue listing off the names, as all of the students would wait there, as their instructors would end up coming there and end up leaving, taking them out on a basic level mission that they had all been assigned, as the Hokage All Might had happened to look around, judging which of their skill level they should have assigned a mission. And All Might, knowing that all of them are still Genin level ninja, they are only going to, or only should be able to, take D rank missions. So they would all be going out taking these sad little D rank missions as the just ninja of the next era. And they would all just basically be stopping cats from falling out of trees, saving just people from, say, a wagon accident or car accident, as Izuku would walking with the rest of his team, as he would end up looking over towards Aizawa. "Come on, Aizawa, please, just give us a better mission. These missions are just so easy." "Oh, yes, they are easy. I just fear you two won't be able to take a C rank mission." Izuku would look over towards Aizawa with sort of just a look in his eyes, saying, "Aizawa, come on. You've seen both me and Bakugo's power. We clearly are ready for a C rank mission. You know that." "Well, I guess you have a point there. Well, I guess that's enough of that. I'll go ahead and start you with your C rank mission, huh? So, I'll go to All Might's office and ask for one. Hopefully he can somehow give us something." "Alright. Thanks, that's great." Izuku would, as it would all be standing outside of All Might's office, as Aizawa would walk in there, negotiating over and over again with All Might, basically just explaining that Izuku was being on his chest the entire day of trying to get a C rank mission, and he wasn't going to stop bugging him until he was given one. So just might as well stop the fueling fire and take it out and allow for them to have a C rank mission. So as all of them end up just seeing Aizawa walk out, you would end up smiling before telling them that they have a C rank mission on their hands. And this mission happens to deal with basically just escorting a high political power figure from their home to a political rival's office where a debate is going to be happening, as these political people are crazy just in this ninja world, as there's constant threats of assassins coming in and taking them out. However, this political figure really wasn't, say, a massive just political figure. He wasn't a president or someone very high-ranking. They were maybe just sort of someone that was in a Congress-type deal. They weren't very high-ranking. They were sort of on the lower end. They still could make bad decisions, costing them a just assassination attempt. However, it wasn't really that likely, hence the reason it was called a C-rank mission. So, as they would all be escorting them around, all of a sudden, one of the most notorious just killers that had been assassinating multiple ninja of the Chunin level, and even political figures, high and low, had ended up appearing. Stain, the hero killer. They would call him the hero killer as he constantly killed figures that were constantly hailed as people that had saved lives. These were ninjas or political powers that had made and passed bills that had just caused for things such as a tax to drop, causing many people that were in poverty to finally be able to afford food again. So you would end up killing these all just in the name of righteousness and, of course, money. So as all of them would be standing across from Izuku, who would stare towards him, pushing out his hand as wood would erupt out of the ground, breaking through the concrete beneath them, rushing towards the hero killer, as roots would envelop all around his leg. He would start struggling, pulling against it. However, Bakugo would end up rushing in with an explosion right across his face, sending it flying towards his head, smashing it against hero killer's. However, his sword would end up slashing upwards, cutting right across Bakugo's cheek. As he would fall backwards onto his butt, the hero killer would lick his sword, as Bakugo all of a sudden couldn't move, completely paralyzed by the hero killer's quirk. What the hell? What did you do to me? He would yell towards the hero killer, however he would only smile, a deep, bloody smile. You foolish UA ninja. I can't believe they really let you take this mission. I know it's only a low-rank mission for low-rank ninja, but no one's safe from me, would say, pointing his swords towards both of them, as Aizawa would rush towards the hero killer, using his scarf, trying to pull away his weapons. However, this wouldn't work at all, the hero killer merely just dodging all of his barrages of attacks, or he would end up ripping the roots right out of the concrete, slashing them, cutting them clean in half. So he would rush on towards Aizawa, going to slash him. For Izuku would create a wall of wood in between them, so his slash would only barely go through it. That's not gonna work here, Stain. Izuku would yell, rushing towards them, all the while Uraraka was standing by, sort of just confused. She would rush to Bakugo's side, asking him if he was alright, which he would say he was. He just really couldn't move any muscles at all. She would ask him if she could do anything for him, which he would only just shake his head. I don't think so. All I know is that he just paralyzed me. So, please, Rocket, just go help Izuku and Aizawa. This hero killer, he's been ranked as a Jonin level threat, someone who could be an A-rank mission. Right as Uraraka was about to take another step forward, Aizawa would jump in, pushing his arm back. Uraraka, stay out of this. I know you're strong, but you're not as strong as Izuku or me. You gotta stay out of this. Alright. Uraraka's head would start shaking. She ended up looking on. She had joined UA to try to become a ninja, as she had constantly been beaten down, told she wasn't good enough, over and over again, as we flash back to her childhood being beaten up by multiple people, as they would all just be laughing at her. You really think you can become a ninja? You're just a puny little girl. You can't become a ninja. You're not strong at all. There's no chance. You couldn't even be a genin. If you think you'd even be able to rescue some cat from a tree, or even make me dinner without burning it, think again. You're weak, Uraraka. Weak. As tears would start flowing out of her eyes. She hadn't been called weak in years. Although Aizawa hadn't directly said it, it was sort of implied. As tears would stream down her eyes, she would clench her fists. No, I can't be called weak again. I can't be known as the weak one. I just can't, she would say, jumping on towards him, rushing towards him. However, all of a sudden, Tezuka would jump away, grabbing Uraraka by her arm. Think about this, Uraraka. If you do this, you could die. You would try tugging off Zuku's arm, trying to escape from his grip. However, it wouldn't work, as Zuku would end up knocking her out for her own good. As finally Stain would end up appearing right behind Izuku, slashing towards him, as he would narrowly end up dodging it, as the top of his hair would end up being cut off, as chunks of his brown hair would fall to the ground, as the wind would pick it up, blowing it away. As Izuku would look towards him, jumping backwards, throwing 3 kunais right at him, all being deflected. You Chunin, you Genin are weak. Well, what can I say? You all are just Genin after all, not even Chunin level. I would say, jumping towards him, going to stab him. However, I saw would jump right in the way, taking the stab wound right in the chest, as he would end up stumbling backwards. As you look on towards him, Izuku, come on. Say, falling backwards, activating his quirk, as his eyes would end up turning blood red, as one of his eyes would turn completely red, as the other one would turn completely white, as his eyes would start burning instantly strong. So you would end up yelling, Izuku, now's your chance. So all of a sudden, Izuku would jump in, punching Stain as he would slash him, slashing him right across the cheek. His blood would stream out of it. He would go to lick the blood, trying to just paralyze Izuku. However, it wouldn't do anything, as Izuku would jump in the air, his fist raised, punching the hero killer right across the face, or end up slamming both his hands together as a massive wooden prison would erect out of nowhere, completely capturing the hero killer. So the hero killer would slam his arms into the wood before slashing with his sword. However, it wouldn't break, not even budging a single bit. You're not going to be able to break that, Stain, I'm saying before walking over towards Aizawa. Aizawa, are you alright? However, Aizawa would look towards him. Yeah, I'm fine. Just worry about Bakugo and Uraraka. I'll call some higher ranked heroes. Alright. Zuko would nod his head as Aizawa would just use a communication device as he just second ranked ninja Endeavor, who was part of the Hokage's ninja, a selective group of ninja for the top 10 ninja in the entire village, where they would get specific missions that sometimes even the Hokage couldn't handle alone. So as Endeavor would walk out, would end up seeing the hero killer be sitting there in a prison. I don't even think it's worth taking him to jail. He's killed far too many people, and he's far too strong for us to have him just escape again. And I'm saying, as he would up creating a massive fireball in his hand, walking up to the prison, just completely blowing it up in flames, as the hero killer's screams and cries of agony would echo throughout the walls, as Zuko would stare on looking at the fire. Wow, that's quite crazy. Zuko would... As Uraraka and Bakugo would both end up standing up. Bakugo now just not paralyzed because the hero killer was dead, and Uraraka now just not being knocked out. As the two would stand up, Aizawa would end up being rushed to a hospital where his wounds would be patched. As all three of them would end up being walked in to the Hokage's office, where the Hokage would end up looking at all three of them. I'm honestly quite impressed with you all. Not only did you stand in the face of danger and adversity, you somehow managed to defeat a Jonin-level threat, the hero killer Stain. That's honestly quite impressive. Not even some of my special ninja have been able to find him after searching him out for weeks. Well, I'd just like to say good job. So, anyways, I would also like to due to this incident, I'm going to have to restrict all of the C-ranked missions for Chunin, or for Genin level ninja, as it's simply far too dangerous to risk any of them dying just yet. I hope you understand. Izuku would jump up, slamming his hands onto the table. What? You can't do this! Those D-rank missions, they're just so boring. This finally gave a little flair, some life into these missions. I finally had something to do. I'm sorry, Izuku. It's just far too risky. You saw what happened to Aizawa. You know better than anyone else. You were there. You saw him get stabbed. You should know it's far too dangerous to risk your own life even. Trying to just fight it out. Zuko would clench his fists in anger. Oh, come on, All Might, please? That's not gonna work, Zuko. He's shaking his head. So Zuko, I shake his head as well. Dang it. Oh, this is gonna be so boring. A couple of days would pass as Aizawa would end up recovering, as we now end up seeing all of the students sitting back in class once again, as their school would go like this. A week they would have of taking care of missions, and then a week after that week, they would end up going back to school. So it would be alternating weeks. Every other week they would be taking missions as their team, and every other week they would be in school just learning about different and new things. So as Izuku would be flipping a pencil around in his fingers, Aizawa would end up walking in with just bandages around his chest. Alright, class. Today we're going to be going on a field trip to learn about different scenarios and how to deal with villains in those scenarios, alright? We're going to a place called the USJ. It stands for Unforeseen Simulation Joint. We're going to be simulating different events around it, how to deal with, say, a flood or a tornado in a city. So we can rescue as many people as possible while also taking care of as many villains as possible to ensure that most people can survive as possible. Everyone ready? Alright, head down to the bus bay and get onto the bus, alright? It's going to be a long trip there. Everyone would nod their heads, rushing off as they would end up arriving. Once there, they would all look around as they would end up seeing a hero standing up at the top of a massive stairwell. Good morning, class, the new ninja class of 1A. Today we're going to be learning about different scenarios. I'm sure your teacher has told you all about it. We are basically just going to be learning how to
do these certain things so in the next couple of months you all can become Chunin. Alright? So, let's begin.
And that is part 2 of What If Deku Had Wood Release. I hope you all did enjoy it, and if you did, please consider subscribing, as it really does help this channel out, and you can even be notified when the other parts of this series do end up coming out. I thank you all for watching once again, and goodbye.